Hi everyone, this is Thérèse and this is ToRAISE Questions Doula podcast. It's been a long time since we have recorded a podcast, so I just wanted to give you an update on where we're at and what's going on. The last podcast that you heard, I was out on the road taking a wonderful hiatus from daily life in Richmond, Virginia, and though I still had to continue to work, I was able to do it out on the road and spend just a truly special, unique, glorious time that I dreamt about for 30 plus years now, almost 40 years since the birth of my first child. And I know that so many of you listening who have children also dream about it, which is just to be able to leave and go away and not have the daily grind responsibilities. And I dreamt about it in such a continuous way. And yes, I traveled a lot because of being able to teach workshops all over everywhere and had opportunities to travel other times. It was never in this way where there was just a freedom that, again, I dreamt about. I think that so many people dream about the realization that I didn't have any children that were dependent on me, and I didn't have any pets, and my computer could come along with me and I could work along the way. Was just this miraculous period of time. And so we seized that opportunity and took off and headed out west and spent 8 weeks living in the tent and hiking mountains and canyons and deserts and freezing myself. I don't like cold very much, but it's invigorating. But we spent time in Montana and Wisconsin, I always say that, Wyoming, where waking up in the morning, it would be 32, 35 degrees out, which was just amazing. And sleeping under the stars and fires and cooking very simply our food. It was just magical. And my partner, Paul, is a person who has spent so much of his life in the outdoors. So traveling with him makes it just such a, for me, much more easy experience so I could enjoy so much, even though I still had to work hard to do daily life. But when it comes down to just basically being in the outdoors and on deserted roads, and because we didn't stay in campgrounds, we stayed on BLM land and National Forest Service lands, which are free in the sense that as taxpayers we pay for that land. And so we were just able to find very isolated spaces to put our tent down, which was just adding to the real magical time, because when you're not surrounded by noise and your internet does not work and there are no lights except for the light of the moon or the light of the stars, it really changes the way you process things, which is something I spent a lot of time thinking about and writing about while I was on this journey, which was about how, we do so much talking, or I do in the workshops, about being fully present. And when you are really working to survive, and we weren't in survival mode, so I shouldn't be careful using that, but survive in comparison to the luxuries of home. You really come down to basics, and you really become fully aware of what that can look like, to have to consider the elements and consider the wildlife. I mean, to be so honest, and I maybe said this in a podcast already, bears, rightly so, scare me. And it was really a process for me. I mean, I've hiked all over many, many, many years, so it wasn't new, but it was just when you're really living it every single day for weeks on end, you start to really consider your life. And so I had a lot of time to consider also the work of birth and how it just has filled me with so many opportunities to grow in my own self, and how the work that I have done was work that I was giving to myself, or maybe I should say it this way, the words that I have spoken, the attention that I have given as somebody attending births. I had to give to myself so many times this summer when I was struggling to climb a mountain that I knew was worthwhile going to the top of or getting to the vista, but really thinking, oh, I just can't do this. I don't know if I can do it. And having that quick connection to, oh my God, how many times I have heard people say that, and what is the response back to it, and what kindness and gentleness I can give to myself. And I have to say, my partner was a phenomenal midwife doula through this experience. Could not have asked for a more patient person. I have some physical limitations due to the multiple surgeries I've had. And I wasn't going to let it stop me, but it really changed how I am as a hiker prior to all these surgeries. And so it was humbling, and it was really important that not only I have somebody really supportive with me, but also to be supportive and kind to myself. And it was something I thought, okay, it's not just about here out in the wild that you need this, but you need this on a daily basis. And I thought about all of us out there and how we isolate ourselves unintentionally, sometimes intentionally, from accepting care from other people and support, and not giving it to ourselves. And so I guess I'm being somewhat philosophical here, but I think it's important as a reminder that, each day that we're living is not always the easiest. And sometimes things are downright really, really hard. And if you were with somebody else who was going through a hard time, and I'm sure you have been many, many times in your life, or just in the mere fact of being an attendant at births, how you would treat them is such the reminder to remind yourself to give to yourself, and then also not to be afraid to use your voice to ask for what you really need, what you really feel could help you move forward or stay right where you are for the moment, and it'll be non-judgmental, that you surround yourselves, maybe not always, but as much as we possibly can, but especially during vulnerable, tough times, to find that if just one safe person that you have to give you what you so often give to other people. I just want you to remember that. I have to remind myself all the time, and I have been humbled over the years by different life circumstances that have made me have to let go of my ego and really accept what others can offer to me, and most importantly to learn to use my voice in the way that serves me best, by asking for help or turning away those who are literally sucking the energy out of me. And that's really can be very hard, especially if it's people in our lives that we have emotional attachments to. But I always come back to, if they really love us, really care about us, though their feelings may be hurt for that moment, they will not stop loving and caring for you. They will come to a place of understanding. This is really a gift, being told you're not doing something appropriately, or you're not needed right at this moment, and not take it because it's not about them, it's about the person who is in need. And the other thought goes through my head is, and if they don't, then perhaps they're not the people that you want in your life or need in your life, and boundary lines can be created gently or forcefully to help yourselves feel safe. So, yeah, I learned, I thought, I wrote, I held so many ideas and thoughts through every step I was taking, every moment that I was out there under the intense desert sun and the really cold mountain air, and the fog and the rain and the stars and the moon and the fog and the ocean. I had so many things that I wish I could have just been carrying this recorder around to share with you. But you know them. They're inside of you. They're not unique only to me. So I'm just sending out a reminder of that appreciation that is hard to hold on to. And I admit, since being back, it's a lot more difficult to bring myself back into those moments, but they're there. And that mindfulness towards it is really important. So, going forward with the podcast, we will be doing a podcast. Hopefully you'll hear something next week, a new one related to birth. And we have new music now. You probably just heard some. The music that we have been using for ToRAISE Questions is wonderful and was created by one of my sons, Keegan. And now the new music is was created by my another son, chances are. And I just thought it'd be nice to change it up. And he and I saw each other. That was one of the joys during the summer. He lives in Colorado, and he allowed me to record him. He just created something on the spot for me, and so that's new. And we're looking forward to your suggestions for upcoming episodes. If you want to tell a story, and I want to be really clear, they are anonymous. They are not identifying of location or your name. And that, I guess I should always point out, is that when we are doing case studies, you may hear the person's name and where they live, but that is not their name and that is not where they live, and they change certain things so that they cannot be identified. We do want to maintain that confidentiality for those whose stories they are sharing, and for themselves. So if you want to share a case story, that's one of the feedback we get in the most positive way about the podcast, is how those have been so helpful to others who are working, to hear how you or we think we can improve those experiences or grow from them. So please feel comfortable with that. Or if there's a topic or a speaker, or you feel that you have something to share, send us an email to toraisquestions@gmail.com, and we will definitely take it into consideration. I also feel that it's important to mention before I finish up here that not all of our podcasts are being shown any longer on the iTunes app. Or in the iTunes library. It turns out that iTunes only archives a certain amount of podcasts, and when you reach that limit, they go into the belly of who knows where. But we don't want you to miss out on those, especially if you're new to the podcast or you want to go back and reflect or listen again for the old ones. You will be able to find all of those if you go to our website, tolabor.com, and go to the podcast page and click that. There are 3 links on that page to be able to listen to: iTunes, Stitcher, and Libsyn. Click the Libsyn link and it will give you all of the episodes. That said, we still really want to encourage you to subscribe on iTunes. It really helps us be identified by having subscribers so that others can find it. And also, it just gives you an update. As you probably already know, every time a new episode comes up, it'll alert you to it, so you won't have to be wondering, what happened to them? Have they had a podcast yet? Because though we try and do it every week, and we try and do it on Wednesdays or Thursdays, sometimes it doesn't work out, and so there might not be anything up there. This way, by subscribing, you'll always be alerted to when a new episode is up. And again, reviews really help us to be found on iTunes. So please leave us a review and help us be seen and pass it on to others. This is open, this forum, to all doulas. We have people from all over the world listening who have been trained or not trained by different organizations, or are in nurses, doctors, midwives, parents, childbirth educators. So pass it on if you think it's worthwhile. So I guess that's it for the moment. Thanks for listening to me. I know I do a lot of talking, but I just felt like it's been a long time since we had anything up here, and I just wanted to say hello again before we start doing the podcasts on a regular basis. So thank you, and take care of yourself, and we'll be back in touch. Bye now.